back to the Six Calcio podcast. Once again, I'm joined by Danny and Francesco. How are you boys? Good?
Hey guys.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, well, we've been waiting for this one. We're doing our awards, saying who we think was the best in each position we chose for formation, for the team of the season. We're going to give out our MVP awards and all that stuff. So we've been looking forward to it for a while, and we're finally here. So I said we get right into it. No time wasting here. Most surprising team. We had a couple, obviously, and Ranch doing the ones that Serie did. We added two of them just to make it interesting. But most surprising team, I went with Milan. There's a couple of teams I could have went with. I went with Milan, even though they finished second and they were winter Scudetto champions and all that. I went with Milan because going into the year, I didn't think Pioli would be doing as well as he did. I don't think any of us picked them for a Champions League spot. If you look at the team on paper going to the year, it was very weak. And I just did not see them getting a Champions League spot over the likes of a team like Napoli. I always thought if Napoli and Milan were going to play, Napoli would batter them. And then in the league table, same thing. They'd get the Champions League spot over Milan. And Milan, somehow, they hung on. Despite all the injuries they had, they surprised me. They made it, and they got top four for the first time in 7 years, boys. Am I right? Something like that?
Since 2012, maybe?
2012, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 2013.
It's been a while, so they're back in the Champions League, and they really shocked me, so I'll give it to them. Dan, we'll go in order. We'll go Dan for chat. So, Dan, who do you have?
I also have Milan, like you were saying, Enzo. He made some very good points. For me, heading into the season, I remember for the predictions we did earlier in the summer, I think I had Milan 5th. So heading into the Europa League spot, I didn't feel like they had the strongest team on paper. I just didn't like Pioli as a coach, but they surprised me. They finished second in the league, so to pass Atalanta and to pass Juve to finish second, only behind the Inter, very surprising team. And let's see if they can continue this heading into next season.
So, Francesco, who do you have for your most surprising team?
Yeah, I was gonna go with Milan. They were a very surprising team, but I had to go with Inter. I think we all know, no stranger, I didn't think Inter had the quality and the players to win the Scudetto. I didn't think they had the mentality, and they proved me wrong, and they won the Scudetto. It might have been a little illegally by not playing their players, but they still had to win the games, and they won the games in style, and it shows that they had the quality and right path to win the Scudetto, so they were my most surprising team.
Yeah, no, it's a good pick. I think Francesco always has his doubts over Inter. And these are all personal, by the way, these awards. Like, obviously, I think, Dan, you picked Inter to win the Scudetto, so obviously you won't make them your most surprising team.
Yeah.
I think I put them second when I predicted, so, yeah, it's all personal to what you thought going into the year, but, yeah, I think we all made good picks there, fair enough. Inter, obviously, getting top four is not surprising, but, they do have a history, recently at least, of choking towards the end of the year, and they didn't this year, so I guess Francesco found that surprising, and yeah, they did well. Now moving on here, most disappointing team. This one was a little tough, because there's a few ways you can go with it. I think, obviously, to start off, I think the one that's pretty obvious is Roma. Conference League finish, pretty embarrassing. But I didn't go with Roma. I think going into the year, all Roma fans knew what we're in for. I expected more or less this finish to be on a 7th, maybe 6th, 5th, around there. 5th to 7th I was expecting. And obviously the optimistic side of me says, top 4, but I knew it was going to happen. Our directives came out and said, this season's the year 0. We're not going to overdo ourselves. And I don't think anyone expected a great year anyways, because of new ownership and all that. So I was expecting a mess of a year, and that's what we got. Even though early on we had a nice little start there. I just had to go Fiorentina. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Fiorentina, in my opinion at least, there's no reason why Fiorentina should not be close or near a team like Sassuolo. I think quality-wise, Fiorentina probably the better team. And Rocco Commisso had a year already. It's the second season he had with Fiorentina, and I was expecting much better. He promised some big things for Fiorentina fans. And year after year, we keep saying every summer, they signed this guy, they signed that guy, they're going to be better. And it never happens. I keep finishing towards the bottom half of the table. It's just, there's no excuses for it really at this point. They only won 9 games this year, which in my opinion is embarrassing for the players they have. You have a guy, Vlahovic, scored 21 goals and you still failed to even be in the Conference League discussion with Sassuolo, which really disappointed me. And hopefully next year they turn it around. Maybe Gattuso, I think it's a big pickup for them. But for this season that just passed, they really disappointed me.
Yeah, for me, for my most disappointing team, I was debating even Fiorentina, but I ended up going with Napoli. With the standards I had for this team, I know for me, I'm a guy that says, "Oh, Napoli could win the Scudetto this year because that's how good of a team we are on paper." To not even finish in top 4, and especially to have the top 4 in our own hands and end up choking it, you can say, in the final match day against Verona. It was just a disappointing season. There was no Coppa Italia to show for it. No semifinals. We lost in the semifinals. We lost to Granada in the round of 32. You can say, yeah, the round of 32. When we were in Europa League, we didn't even make top 4. We're back in the Europa League. We're probably gonna lose a lot of players. We lost Gattuso. We had to get a new coach now, and it was just a mess of a season for me. And personally, glad we actually found a way to make top 5 after the start we had and that little slump we got into. We were just inconsistent the whole year. We couldn't find any rhythm. Players were getting hurt. Players had COVID. So it was just a disappointing season. Hopefully under Spalletti now, Napoli can get back to the top 4, get back to Champions League, get the funds that we need to rebuild the team. But for my most disappointing team, I put Napoli.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams I could have put here. I was debating to put Juve, because they won the Scudetto, but at the end of the day, they did win 2 trophies, and it was Pirlo's first year without injuries and a preseason, so I kind of took it easy on him. Ultimately, I had to agree with Enzo here and go with Roma. Start of the season, I had so much high hopes for the new project of Rome. Obviously the injury of Nicolo Zaniolo was huge, and then the injuries kind of trickled down for Roma, which was unfortunate. But at the end of the day, they finished 7th. They almost didn't finish 7th too. They tied with Sassuolo 1 point, so they almost didn't even qualify for any European football at all. So for me, that's the most disappointing team.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Like I said, Roma was always going to be a good choice. I think the year was terrible. I expected a bad year, maybe not this bad, but yeah, those are most disappointing teams. I think we all picked more or less fair options there. I think Daniel would go hard on Napoli there, but at the same time, you had high expectations. So
yeah, especially because too, like, we just brought in Osimhen for 70 million. So we also, like, the past year we signed our record players with Lozano 40, Osimhen at 70. We actually have, for me on paper, when we attack, and it showed early in the season too, when we were the attack, we were one of the most dangerous teams in Italy, and I personally believe on paper we are one of the most dangerous teams in Italy. I feel like now the league, anyone can beat anyone, but I felt like that extra thing. Okay, Napoli can finally make a good push this year because we actually have a good team. We have a striker who could potentially score 15 goals this season. We have wingers who can score and provide assists. We have a good midfield. Our backline seems to be playing good throughout the final stretch of last season, heading into this season. And our goalkeeping has been not the issue. And it was just very disappointing at the end of the season, especially because we didn't even make top 4 and we had the top 4 in our hands. So maybe if Napoli made Champions League, I wouldn't put them disappointing. But since Napoli missed out on Champions League, it was a overall disappointment.
yeah, well said. And this next one, best under 23 player. We're heading into our individual awards. Boys, if we don't have the same one, I'll be very disappointed. Okay, let's say it on 3.
Okay.
I have a feeling for Chad's not have the same one.
Okay, Ed, you can
3.
go first. I'll go second, and then we'll see what French I have.
All right, Vlahovic.
Boys, listen.
Oh, here
Oh my God.
we go. Oh my God.
I will say this. I was extremely close to put the man, the myth, the legend, Federico Chiesa. But I did go with
I would have left this podcast.
I did go with Vlahovic because what he did was just unspeakable. It was incredible. 21 goals, I think he had. It was
With
just,
Fiorentina.
yeah, with Fiorentina, so it was remarkable what he
like,
did, so I had to pet him. Don't worry,
there's gotta
boys.
be a stat. I think he had like 40% of their goals or something. Like it was
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
crazy.
And Keze, he did have a good season, but I think only really near the second half is where he really turned it on.
Yeah, that's why I had to kind of edge it to Vlahovic.
Yeah, you scared me for a second. I thought it was Casamoa or something.
He was gonna put Buffon.
Yeah, I have Buffon. Yeah, you give me on your heart attack, but thank God we're on the same page there. Best goalkeeper, I think we may be on the same page. Donnarumma.
Yeah, Donnarumma.
Yeah, Donnarumma.
I think that one's self-explanatory. Without Donnarumma, Milan these last couple of years would have been relegated. But enough for real, though. He's been a great keeper for them. Off the pitch, you can say what you want about him. I have my own opinions on that, but
I hope he's a great keeper for us now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We'll be looking forward to the transfer episodes coming up soon. But yeah, Donnarumma, I think we all have to agree on that one. I think everyone probably picked him. So, yeah, another great year for the young up and coming, and maybe soon to be next Buffon. We'll see. Now, best defender. This one, I think we're all gonna have a different one. It was close. There's Bastoni in the conversation. Romero won it for the actual Serie A MVP, which I don't agree with. I think he had a great year, just not for the best one. There's so many ways you can go with this one. I think Koulibaly, even though it wasn't like the past, he still had a good year, a very good year. When does Koulibaly have a bad year? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's just the only thing that killed him this season was a few injuries heading towards the end. Just injuries, and I think he had COVID at one point too. He had COVID at one point.
He might have. I can't remember. So many people have had it.
Yeah, like it's crazy. But it was a good year for Koulibaly. Like when he would play, it's just he battled a few injuries and COVID too.
Yeah, it was a tough year for a lot of players. This one was really tough. I went with Skriniar. I think this award all depends on how you value certain players in each position. Like for example, Inter, they went with the 3-back. I think De Vrij would have been a very good choice, and I almost picked him. He had a great year with De Vrij. I think very under the radar. Bastoni, I was so close to picking him, so close, but I decided not to. I think Skriniar, we saw him go back to the old Skriniar. Last year he was far from good, but this year he really settled down. I think Conte found how to use him in the middle of the back three there, and he was really Inter's anchor. When Bastoni got beat or the Vrij got beat, Skriniar was always there. I think without Skriniar there is no Scudetto. I think he did a lot of things under the radar. And I really enjoyed watching Skriniar this year. I think he's gone back to his old self. But there's so many ways you can go with this award. You could pick 5 of the guys and it won't blink. It's such a hard one. But Dan, who did you go with, bro?
Yeah, no, I actually have the same one. I had Skriniar as well. He was just a brick wall for Inter. A huge factor on why they won the Scudetto. Him and Bastoni, even De Vrij too. They were amazing defending wise. And yeah, you could argue that Romero probably, since the Serie A gave it to him, I still think I didn't agree with it as well. I think Skriniar should have won it. He was just outstanding and a key contributor to Inter's Scudetto success. And it's gonna be interesting now to see how he would play. He's gonna play under Inzaghi.
Yeah.
Bonucci.
The toughest thing for me was to not pick the king, Leo Bonucci.
You didn't pick him.
I couldn't. It was tough for me, but I did go with Skriniar. I think when you have Antonio Conte in the league, the best defender is always going to be someone on his team because the way he sets up his defense is just so magical. So it had to be Skriniar for me.
I'm shocked, I don't think
it was a tough decision. It was a
having an Inter player on his team. Wow,
we're on the same page. I did not see that coming. I think this next one we may still be on the same page, maybe not. I have Barella for best midfielder. I think Barella is the heart and soul of Inter. He was in the Nangolan role for Roma, the great years we had when he was at the club. He ran up and down the field, box to box, scoring goals, assisting, defending. He was just the heart and soul of the team. He was our engine. And once again, like I said, Skriniar, I think without Barella, there is no Scudetto. What a pickup that was for Inter. I think 50 million.
Yeah.
And I think he definitely has a bright future, and I think he deserved the award.
Yeah, no, I went with Barella too. This guy, even for Italy too, he's just a machine, man. Oh my God, this guy does everything. He can win the ball back. He can link up good with the strikers, the forwards, and he can also score too. Where he shows. He again, like we were saying, he's the heart and soul. He's kind of like what Hamsik was for Napoli. He was the heart and soul of our midfield. Kind of like what Nainggolan was for Roma. Kind of like Pirlo, you could say maybe Pogba for Juve. It was just a very good season for Barella, and this guy, he's world class, man. Like he can be up there for maybe top 10 midfielders in the world.
Yeah, I agree. I also have Barella. Like what Enzo said, the way he played this season was just lights out. If Barella tore his ACL, maybe 4 games in, Inter don't win the Scudetto, and it just goes to show you how big of a player he is.
Yeah, I think it was going to be hard for us to choose anyone else but him. We're on the same page still, which I'm surprised by. I think this next one too will be on the same page. I have Lukaku for best attacker.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ways you can go with this one. You could have said Ronaldo. You could have said Muriel, who I feel so bad for not having Muriel in anything because he had such a great year. 22 goals, 9 assists for Atalanta, but it's just there's so many good attackers. It's hard to put him in for me. But yeah, I
yeah,
have
no,
Lukaku. I think the assists set him apart because he
yeah,
scored and assisted. So I have Lukaku.
yeah, no, I have Lukaku too. I think I'm pretty sure he led the league in assists too, or he was tied for like second or in second.
I think
Uh,
he was second behind Malinowski.
yeah, he was second, I believe. He had 36 goal contributions, which was the most in the league. So I put Lukaku for best attacker. Yeah, you can argue, Ronaldo. Oh, he scored the most goals, but at the end of the day, it's best forward. So you have to look at what they mean to the team and what the amount of goals they contribute. So if you go based off stats, Lukaku's got more than Ronaldo by I believe 4. So Lukaku for me gets the best attacker.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously it's hard not to put Ronaldo since he did win the Capo Camanieri, but when Lukaku's that good and he's scoring and assisting, it's hard not to put him in. So I had to go with Lukaku here.
Yeah, I think in my opinion the next one go hand in hand. I don't group to Serie. They probably tried to make different teams get different players in one more than one,
Yeah,
something like that. But I have Lukaku for overall MVP.
yeah,
Yeah,
same.
yeah, same.
Yeah, I think we are all going to agree on that one. I think everyone in the world agrees with that one.
I think we had the same
Lukaku.
awards.
Yeah, all the awards are the same. I'm
The only thing
shocked.
that was different, for us was disappointing teams.
Yeah, that
And
was.
I just thought about 2 ends we could have done I probably should have said this for most surprising just to be different. Swansolo. They surprised me a lot this season. I
They
know
did.
they
They
have
surprised me too.
I
A
know
lot.
they have good quality players, and De Zerbi, he's a better coach than what I expected. I just felt like for me they couldn't get the recognition that they deserved because of the fallout they had throughout the season. They dropped dramatically. I think they were top 4 for like a month or so, and then
Yeah,
they
to
just ended
start
up
off. Yeah.
ending in 7th place. Where I think we have them when we did our prediction league or our prediction podcast. But so Swallow too, they were some surprising team, and they're a team that you have to look out for. If they can upgrade a few pieces, who knows? We could be talking about them maybe potentially make a big Europa League push.
Yeah, that'd be great to see. And I kind of wish that Zerbi stayed, but for his career, I think Shakhtar's a great move in that next step up to
Yeah.
Champions League football. And yeah, great move for De Zerbi. But yeah, would have been a good pick, Sassuolo as well. Now moving on to the part I was most excited for,
Mm-hmm.
our team of the season. So usually we have the same formation, and I say goalkeeper, and we all say our goalkeeper. But this time, I think we'll have a different formation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I think we'll just take turns. I'll go first here. I'm playing a 4-1-2-1-2.
okay.
And the reason for that is because there's so many midfielders I wanted to include. Like wingers, I wanted to put Insigne badly. I wanted to fit Cuadrado on the team somehow because he had a great year. There's so many people I feel like I missed out on, but the midfield is so tough to pass up. But guys like Mkhitaryan didn't fit in my team, who had 10 goals, 10 assists, around that area. Maybe 11 assists, one of the two. He had a great year. And Zielinski I wanted to fit in. I just couldn't. There's so many good players in that position, so I had to go the diamond in the mid. But now, start off, obviously goalkeeper, Donnarumma. We've been over that. No need to go into detail. Center backs, I went with Romero and Skriniar. I think Romero, I don't think he was the best center back, but I do think that for a team that's such a liability on defense, to have Romero really anchor Atalanta was huge for them, something they missed in the past. And they need to find someone to pair up with him for the future if they want to challenge for the Scudetto. And I think Romero did a great job. He proved everyone wrong. Everyone questioned his defensive ability. They said, oh, he's only good on corners or going forward. But he was very good on defense this year. And has a bright future. So I went for Romero. Skriniar, where I spoke about, incredible. 48 tackles, 38 interceptions. That's phenomenal. And then left back, I went with Gosens. I think a lot of people say Teo, Teo this, Teo that. I think Gosens was by far, in my opinion, the best left back. I mean, one of the best left backs I've seen in the last 10 years for an individual season. He was incredible. 17 goal contributions, 46 tackles, 41 interceptions. That's incredible. Gosens was the man, and I think he's destined for a big move soon, and hopefully Atalanta can hold on to him because he's a great player and 100% deserves.
I hope Atalanta sell him to Juve.
Yeah, of course you do. I wouldn't blame you. But yeah, he's a menace and a great player. Right back, I think there's some ways you can go. I wanted to put Di Lorenzo because of his defensive ability. And I looked into numbers a little bit more. I don't like going based off numbers, but I just wanted to speak just quickly. And Hakimi, obviously going forward, we know he's great. 15 goal contributions, incredible. And then tackles. He had 53 tackles. I did not expect that. I don't remember Hakimi making a tackle ever, but I guess he does. He's quick. He's the pace to get back. And Hakimi, even though he's not as important as Skriniar and Barella, I still do think it would have been much tougher if Inter did not have him. On the counter-attack, because Inter is so defensive heavy, without Hakimi breaking on the counter, it'd be so tough for them to get these counter-attack goals that they get. And almost every counter-attack goal you see, Hakimi's involved at some point in the play. He either drags a man wide by sprinting using his pace to create space for Lukaku to get in the middle, or he's in the play crossing it in. He's a great player, so I had to go for Hakimi. But there also is guys like Cuadrado you can put Di Lorenzo. Moving on now, center defensive mid. I had to go with Kessie. I almost didn't because I know people say, oh, he scores pens, but I don't care about his goals. To me, it doesn't really matter. His defensive ability is what really impressed me. Milan without Romagnoli all year, and without a lot of their key players at times getting injured, defensively they were always a weak team, but Kessie always dropped back to help the center backs. He moved forward. He was the engine like Barella was for Inter. And I was so impressed by Kessie when he first came to Milan. 30 million price tag from Atalanta. He was horrendous, I think the first year, maybe the second too.
Yeah.
But ever since then, he's really woken up. He's been a leader for the team. And it was very hard for me not to include Kessie. And he was a big reason for them being top four. And without Kessie, top four does not happen. And even though penalties, whatever, so penalties, they're annoying, I know. But they're not easy to score. And to score them as consistently as him, I think he missed one or two all year. And he's taken a lot, so... credit to Kessie for being really a leader of Milan and getting them to where they are. Another center mid, I have two center mids. I have Barella. No need to get into detail. I think you all probably have him. Other center mid, I went with Rodrigo De Paul. Now, this one I want to be a little bit different because obviously De Paul, his club finished 7 points away from relegation. But this guy got 18 goal contributions with garbage around him, complete garbage. Udinese, I know for Pereira, all this stuff, but
I was about to come on, and Pereira. They have one of the best strikers in world football has ever seen, Fernando Llorente. You gotta give some respect here.
This guy's complete donkeys around him, and he got 18 goal contributions. I would bet my life on it. Take the ball off this team, they get relegated, and I'll even go as far as saying last place in the league. That's how far I'd go. This guy's incredible. DePaul, if he was on a better team, he'd have at least 25 goal contributions. I guarantee it. This guy is one of the best midfielders of the past decade in the Serie. I'm going to stand by that. He's so good everywhere. He runs. He doesn't complain. He plays for a horrendous team. You can see players like him go in the media say, oh, I'm not happy here, blah, blah, blah. This guy is just talking on the pitch. He leaves it all out there, and he saved Udinese once again. So I really want to put him in there. I feel like he deserves some recognition. So I threw in DePaul there. Now moving on, Cam. This guy's a big reason why I'm using a diamond in midfield. I couldn't leave him out. Malinovsky. What a year he's had. 20 goal contributions. He played 36 games. He's durable. He produces in big games. He shined. His shot's amazing. His passing ability. He led the league in assists. It was so hard to not include him. I think Malinovsky had to be in. What year he's had. It's very self-explanatory. I think everyone has him in this team, or at least considered him. And yeah, what a year for Malinovsky. I think he has a bright future ahead of him, and Atalanta continue to get these gems out of nowhere, so big ups to him. Strikers, I have two strikers, Ronaldo and Lukaku. Pretty self-explanatory again. I think Ronaldo had 29 goals, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of hard to leave that out. I wanted to put Muriel in, 22 goals, 9 assists. I really, really wanted to put him in final somehow, but I can't put him over Ronaldo, 29 goals. Campo Canoniere. It's hard to leave Ronaldo out of the team, so I had to put him in. Lukaku, MVP. We all chose him. World-class player, and just what a season he had once again with Inter. So that's my team of the season. Dan, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay, so for goalkeeping, I have Donnarumma. Very self-explanatory. Guy had most clean sheets. Huge factor of why Milan finished second. Easily top 10, top 15 goalie in the world. Probably the best. He is the best goalie in Italy, and he's our number one for the national team, and he's gonna be our future number one for many years to come. For my center backs pairing ends, I had the same pairing as you. I had Skriniar and Romero. Both defenders were key for the sides. Especially Romero for Atalanta, who are known for an attacking side. He really took a big step this season. Coming from a guy who I'm not a big fan of Romero, but this season he proved me wrong. He made me open my eyes that he's becoming a player I'm starting to look out for, starting to support, because he's also Argentinian. And he took a very big step this season. He was incredible. And Skriniar was just a brick wall for Inter. So that's self-explanatory right there. For my left back, I also had Gosens. Yeah, you could say Theo Hernandez, the guy's the best left back in Italy. Gosens can do both. He can defend. He can also attack as well. And he just fits into Atalanta's system so good. And he's a key contributor to many of their goals, many of their attacks as well. And he's just a gem. And I think any team in the league would be lucky to have him. Right back, this is going to be a debate. Yes, I know Hakimi had 15 goal contributions. He had most tackles, but I put Di Lorenzo. I just think Di Lorenzo, he was consistent for most of the season. This guy's consistent, this guy is easily one of the best right backs in Italy, and he was just a very big part for our defense. There was so many games that he played very well defensively. He did the small things right. He even got a lot of goal contributions. I believe he had 9 goal contributions from the right back position. I could be wrong because he had less, but he had a pretty few goal contributions from the right back position. So for me, I had Di Lorenzo right back. My midfield, I put Barella. Guy's just an engine. He's incredible. Malinowski, just huge part for Atalanta, especially when they lost Papu. They needed that one guy to step up, and he was that one guy that stood up for Atalanta, had a very good season, and I think he'll have an even better season next year. And I was debating putting DePaul, even because he did a lot for Udinese. He's the main reason why they stayed up. I even said it too before. If they sell him, I believe Udinese will be relegated. But for me, I put Zielinski, this guy. When he was on this game, he's Napoli's best midfielder, and he was Napoli's best midfielder the whole season. This guy did a lot of great things for us. He did beautiful turns and stuff. Great collecting the ball, driving the ball up, linking up with Insigne, linking up with Osimhen, with the players around him. He was, for me, Napoli's best midfielder, and this guy, when he's on this game, he's easily one of the best midfielders, I should say, in Italy. And I believe, for me, I had Zielinski in my team. I could have put DePaul, but for me, I feel like Zielinski was just more influential based on the team. He stood up in the big games for us. He got some big plays for us. So I put Zielinski. For my attack, I have Lukaku. Guy's world class. I put Lorenzo Insigne for my left wing. This guy was easily Napoli's best player this season. The heart and soul of Napoli, the capitano for us. With Insigne, our attack looked lost a few times. And when Insigne was off, our team was off. And this guy, Napoli run for Insigne, and he was just a warrior this season. He had 19 goals. I think the most goals he's had in Italy's top flight, and believe like 11 or 10 assists or something like that. He had an incredible season for us, and he was just our best player for us. So it's kind of hard for me to leave him out. And for right wing, I know this could be a lot of debate. I do not have Ronaldo in this team. I went for 4-3-3 for my formation, so I put with wingers. Federico Chiesa. Some can argue that yes, Ronaldo was their top goal scorer, but I personally believe Federico Chiesa was Juve's arguably one of their best players this season, maybe top two in the season. He was lights out for Juve, a big reason why Juve finished in the top four. He was just so energized. He's better than what he was at Fiorentina. Sorry, not like playing wise, but just the way he attacks. I feel like he was a better forward this season than he was last season. And he was just a big contribution to Juventus' success in Coppa Italia's, the Supercoppa. He was just crazy. The guy's fast, man. He's a hard player to defend. He's got to work on his game. He does tend to flop a lot. Does tend to referee the game. But for me, he was Juve's top two player, and that's my team. And Francesco, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Francesco going to be up next. What a team, Dan. I actually really like your team there. I think including Chiesa was good. I like to change it up so we don't all have the same team, which is good.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to have similar players.
As much as I love DePaul, I believe he's probably the second best Argentinian player in the world currently. Some can argue
behind
that.
Pereira.
Yeah, behind we all know who, the real prince, the real king. But for me, I just wishes. But for me, I think Zielinski was just, you can say around DePaul, but I believe DePaul on a bigger team, I don't know what he would do on a bigger team because he's with better players, and DePaul does tend to hog the ball a lot. If you watch the games, I think he had the most possession lost this season. So he does tend to hog the ball a lot, but again, he's on Udinese. They really don't have much quality around them, but for me, it was either Zielinski or DePaul, but I think Zielinski, for me, had a better season.
Yeah, well said. I think it's time for the main show, boys.
Here we go.
The viewers haven't heard my raw reaction to the unfortunate circumstances at Juventus management. In light of that, I chose to get the only positive from this old man and use it to my advantage, and that is using the 4-2-3-1 formation. So in net, I have none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Gigio Donnarumma. Honorable mention, just because it's his last one, I had to go with Buffon in there. His last one just out of respect. In my defense, I have Juan Cuadrado at right back. Obviously, what he did was just incredible. Hakimi's obviously my honorable mention for there. In defense, I got Skriniar and Bastoni. Again, it breaks my heart that Bonucci isn't there, but when you have players that were that good for Inter, you just had to include them. Bonucci is on the bench, though you need a leader on the bench like that. Left back, I got Robin Gosens, and for this one, I think it was self-explanatory. Theo Hernandez is on the bench for this one, but I think what Gosens did with Atalanta is incredible, and I hope I see him at Juve next season. In the midfield, the two holding midfielders, I got Frank Cassier. Like Enzo said, he was just an engine for Milan, and I had to try to include some Milan player in here. Finishing second place, you need to have some outstanding player for Milan. For me, it was Cassier, obviously Ibra too, but Cassier was more important, I feel like, to the Milan team. And obviously Barella, he was just incredible. In the cam position, I have three kind of cams, but I'm being rogue with it. So in the central cam, playing with Malinovsky, most assists in Serie, speaks for itself. If he was in an Atalanta's team, Atalanta's a system, they still would have done well, but he's made Atalanta's lives a lot easier, especially with the loss of Papu Gomez. I think he kind of filled that void pretty well. and he has a bright future to come. Then on the wide camp spots, I went with Danny's boy, Lorenzo Insigne. Again, a standout season for him. Captain of Napoli, he was just incredible. I think he had his most goals ever scored this season.
I think in the top flight for Italy.
Yeah, so you could see his improvement is really starting to take off now. Hopefully he's like that in the Euros too upcoming. On the right, I think everyone, I want to hear you say with me, Federico Chiesa. He had a disappointing first half of the season, but once he kind of knew Pirlo's system and how he wanted to play and kind of get comfortable with the lads, I think he did fantastic. And I hope that success carries on to next season and for the Euros especially, because he has had a history of not playing well for the Azzurri. So hopefully that changes on the big stages. And the striker, I think it's a little strange. I have Romelu Lukaku on the bench. I'm joking. Inter fans don't kill me right now. I have Lukaku.
The podcast.
I obviously have Romelu Lukaku starting. It's like you have to be an idiot not to have him in your team. Cristiano Ronaldo is on the bench for me. I just feel like we're playing a team of the season. And even though Ronaldo was good this season, he wasn't great. And you want great in this team, and that's what I have. And that's why I have Leo Bonucci on the bench, because you want great. If it's on the bench, if it's in the starting 11, you always want great. So that's my team, and I want to throw a little like a trickle of surprise in there. Manager of the season, Antonio Conte. He would be the manager of this team.
Manager of the season.
I think we all have.
Italiano.
That'll be great. Yeah, he's been great with Spezia. What a manager has been. Yeah, that's our team this season. I
feel like I'm the only one that didn't put Kessie. Wow.
No, that's okay. It's all opinionated. Yeah. You had a great team as well. I think we all did. We all had very similar players.
I think my team would body your guys. I think my team would absolutely dismantle each one of your teams.
We have the same team. It's just 1-2 players that are different.
Yeah, but we also have different formations, so the team plays different. And I also have Leo Bonucci, a true leader on the bench. No one has Leo on the bench.
I don't think they're winning a game.
You're right. They'll win the Scudetto instead, Enzo.
Yeah, maybe
they'll win every game.
And they'll all leave before their preseason game.
Yeah, for real. My God, that was funny. I think we had a great team, all three of us. Our awards were all the same. Disappointing team was really the only difference we had, apart from a couple of players in the team this season. It was a fun pod. I always look forward to it. We got some great ones coming up. The Euros, hopefully some watch-alongs live. We're gonna get some guests on coming up. I'm pretty sure next week I have a guest locked in, so you'll hear about that soon. And we're gonna end it off here.
Enzo, I think it's become a tradition now. Let's be honest here.
Oh my God.
Boys, just want to say, there's no groundbreaking news. Just know, Cherubini, he's already on the hit list. I don't like the guy at all. And that's your daily French take for interrupting Enzo in a podcast. Continue.
Yeah, and to clarify for those of you, Paratici is gone, and that's who will be replacing him. So.
I think it is Paratici still. I just think it's Paratici and Afatsu. They look like brothers, one just bigger than the other.
Yeah, let's end this one before we I don't know what's going to come up next year.
Yeah.
Francesco Paratici wearing a fat suit, so.
Yeah, then people will be like, oh, and by the way, he joined Lazio, or close to joining Lazio.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I'm actually so excited for the next podcast. So many things have gone down, and we got to break it all down. So it's going to be a fun one. Thanks for listening. Check out our social media at Six Side Calcio everywhere, and we'll talk to you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.
See you guys.